A new witness was meant to testify today at the Senzo murder trial, but she doesn't want her testimony to be broadcast live. The witness saying because she's a public figure, her safety might be compromised and she might face a backlash on social media. The defence and media opposing her application. Today, the presiding judge expected to make a ruling on this on Wednesday. Our reporter Moloko Moloto has been following proceedings, joins us now. So, Moloko, interesting day in court. We know it's a woman and we know it's a singer. And there were two women in the house that night who are also singers. So we can't name names here, but it's one of two people, clearly. Talk to me about why this objection was lodged at really the 11th hour, because Senzo died years ago. Was it 2013? 2013. And you would imagine that people, his friends in the house on the night he was murdered, would be eager to give their testimony if it helps convict the murderer or murderers. So this is a friend, a close friend, saying, wait, I don't want to be filmed. Yeah. Talk to me about what happened in court.
Well, just a slight correction, Sally Badet. Senzo died on the 26th of October 2014.
2014. Okay.
Now, yes, we know now 4 witnesses have already testified and their proceedings were broadcast live. 2 police officers. I think one is responsible for forensic and the other was the first one to arrive at the scene. And the others are the friends of the late Senzo Tumelo Madlala, as well as Mtokosi Sitwala. Now, this 5th witness was supposed to start testifying today, and immediately before the court could even proceed, an application was brought before the court by the state, and they did apologize to say that as the state, they became aware of this application only last night. However, the defense was still not impressed. They said, look, this is a matter that should have really been addressed during the pre-trial conference. And as you say, when the trial began, actually, all these issues should have been ironed. Now, her main argument is that I'm a performer, I am well known, and my testimony that I will be testifying before court may just considering that other witnesses have already testified, should there be some contradictions, she fears that there might be a social media backlash, people criticizing her, and this is the person who says she is a performer, and she's just worried about people's perceptions of her, and as a result she feels like her safety will be compromised. Now, that particular application was made by Advocate George Baloyi for the state. Perhaps let's listen to him.
Her personal safety. The witness is a well-known personality. She has to perform in public from time to time. And if these proceedings, my lord, are carried live, there's a possibility that the public might form perception regarding her evidence. And when she then performs publicly, her life might then be endangered. So the first reason, my lord, is for personal safety. The second ground, my lord, is that if the proceedings are carried live, that will put pressure on her. It will make her uncomfortable. She's under no circumstances, my lord, prepared to give evidence if the proceedings are carried live. There's, however, this important aspect, my lord, this important rider. The witness has got no objection if the journalists sit in court and report on her testimony.
It's very curious because whatever information she gives will anyway go out there, but she doesn't want it live, and not even just her voice, as we've seen other witnesses do. The lawyer Dan Rosengarten, representing us as media, but also other media houses, he argued in court against that application. And of course, the defense, very unhappy about that. Just tell us a bit more.
So what is even more interesting is that she doesn't want to be filmed when she's in court, but she says the media can actually film me if I'm in the corridors. She doesn't have a problem with that. She just doesn't want to be recorded, and she doesn't want to be live on television. Now, the defense jumped in there to say that these reasons are flimsy. They are saying that she is holding at ransom everybody else, and they are saying that why is she only bringing this application now? You might have heard the state advocate there indicating that she is saying that if she is compelled to testify live on television, she may consider not testifying anymore. And we had the judge saying that, well, if she chooses to do that, the law will take its course. So there's a possibility that if she says I can't testify, she may just be subpoenaed to come and testify. Now, of course, the defense lawyers, all of them, are saying this must happen because there are people who are the families of the accused, but also the family of Senzo Meyiwa. Some of them are as far as in KZN, and they want to follow these proceedings on television because they don't have money, some of them, to be traveling to Gauteng as well. And now we have our lawyer as the media outlets, and he is saying this man who passed on was a national face. This is the captain of South Africa's football team, Bafana Bafana. South Africans are interested in knowing what actually happens here. And of course, he has cited several cases that he says are setting a precedent here because he says what he calls open justice, wherein South Africans are able to satisfy themselves that we have seen the trial, whichever judgment really is handed down, they will be satisfied to say we have been observing. Let's listen to him.
She's a well-known public figure. The trial will have been over. Insofar as safety is concerned, well, people know who she is. People know that she's testifying. This is not going to be held in camera. Her evidence is going to be written in the media. She's currently partaking in tweets about this very application. There's nothing secretive. There's nothing scared about this witness. So that is what we ask for. I shall not dwell on Netflix or the interview on eNCA because the one thing it certainly shows is that she's not camera shy. That's the one thing it certainly does show, that the cameras don't bother her in any way. The reference was to social media was in a sense, in part, to do with that point, because what I'm saying is not what's going on from members of the media in court, but this particular witness, as scared as she might be, is actively tweeting now about these proceedings. So that was really the point I was making insofar as social media is concerned.
It's so interesting because, of course, the 5 men on trial, this is being tried as a robbery gone wrong, that these men were there to rob and there was a scuffle and a shot rang out and Senzo Meyiwa died. But we are all aware of the alternative theory that this was a commissioned hit by someone in the house to get rid of Senzo. And, of course, that's not what's on trial, but it does point a finger at the people in the house. And it is only going to further fuel speculation, I would imagine, which has been doing the rounds since he died in 2014. So what is likely to happen on Wednesday?
Yeah.
What are we expecting?
Well, actually, Sally, quickly, we are told by the state that actually they were, including the people who were in the house, they are arguing that there were intruders, 2 of them who entered into the house and 1 of them killed Senzo. Yet there's a statement that's been deposed by the brother-in-law of Senzo Meyiwa, who says that I phoned one of the people, Tumelo Madlala, who was in the house, to say what happened. And he said, telling Mr. Hlope, that actually Tumelo Madlala said Senzo Meyiwa was trying to mediate when Zandi was having a fight with her boyfriend, Longetola. That's when he died. So that explains everything.
There's actually lots of
But
things,
in
yes.
terms of what is expected is that by the end of today, the state should have filed their heads of arguments. And the defense, as well as the media, must also file their heads of arguments by I think, 4 p.m. tomorrow. And on Wednesday, there's going to be an argument in court, and possibly judgment with regard to this may be handed down to decide whether she will be compelled to testify on camera, or it might rule in her favor. We wait for Wednesday.
Very interesting. And of course, if it rules in her favor, then it will rule in favor for anyone else in the House who is perhaps reluctant to go on camera. Very interesting indeed. Thank you so much. That's eNCA's Moloko Moloto, just giving us the latest on the murder trial of Senzo Meyiwa.